Hello world, this is Jason Smith making my post this morning before I hit the road. Wanted to talk to you briefly about something that's fundamental, that's reading. And I want to talk a little bit about not just when you read and how you read, but also I'll tell you what I'm reading. As last week I made the first book recommendation that I ever had, and I realized this is something I should be putting up. So first, about when you're reading, there's a lot of psychology about reading right before you go to bed and internalizing that, and that's important. But as we talked about in the process of knowing and finding, you want to make sure you put into your daily schedule and your regular weekly regimen certain times in the day where you know you're going to read, where you're going to digest things. I have my morning time to read articles and such, but the books, the larger, more complete works, you want to work into your day at some point in your schedule. That's where that evening reading comes in handy. Those larger, deeper concepts you want to internalize, sleep on them. So put those at your bedside table, right? The other part I want to talk about is what you read. Making sure that you're reading a combination of articles and short digestible materials to keep yourself fresh, but also, as I mentioned, larger, more complete works that have deeper thoughts that really can extend your knowledge and you can build upon things that you'll need to refer to several different times and have those in your arsenal. You hear a lot of people who are successful in business, they have copies of Master Key to Riches or any of the philosophy books from Zig Ziglar. Those are the kind of books that are more complete and you need to take more time to digest. So, what am I reading, right? The book I just finished was an ebook, so I have to show you a piece of paper called The Perfect Plan by Don Barton. Again, it's a book about sales philosophy, if you will, or sales psychology. I think it's excellent. He studied the top 1% of people in the world. The book I just started, I picked up from the America's Warriors Partners seminar that just left. And Chris Fussell, who's the author of this book, One Mission, which is a companion book to the Team of Teams book from the McChrystal Group, came and spoke about what he did. It's a philosophy of how special forces in the Middle East use a different tactic of breaking up their leadership and their operations so that everyone could be more effective. The two books I have not started yet that are on my list to do were recommended to me, and I'm going to pick them up. The first was Branding You. It's a book about branding yourself, your personal brand. It's called Reinventing You. And I'll be cracking that book open this evening to get started on it. The Chris Fussell book is one that I'm digesting in pieces. So as I read, I'll switch in between books. The other one I was just given by the author at the Franchise Expo in Cobb Galleria this past week. It's called the Franchise MBA. And by all accounts, it's one of the most acclaimed books on Amazon right now. So I'm happy to have gotten a free copy. The last thing I'll talk about is how you read. And depending on who you are, that'll define, where you read things. But I'll show you an excerpt from the book that I just recommended, Predictable Revenue. Take a look at what I do inside of my books. It's replete with not only highlights, but notes to myself about things that I noticed from the reading. I kind of take ownership of expanding my knowledge. So I'll make notes in there of things to refer to and come back and update. I don't keep my books pristine. They're dog-eared. They've got cards stuck in them, little bits of information that I can use to reference. And then after I finish closing that back cover, I'll come back and I'll go back through my notes. How you read is important. I take the time to make sure that I'm really extracting as much knowledge as possible by writing as well as reading while I'm digesting the information. This is like being in school, and your own time now is your university. So that's my inputs on reading. Remember, reading is fundamental for all you Reading Rainbow fans out there, and I hope you all are keeping your processes of knowing and finding going through reading. For what it's worth, good luck out there.